Good evening, welcome to News Hour on GBC24 and GTV. My name is Shirley Annan.
I am Gifty AG. Now the headlines.
A new board of directors for the Bank of Ghana sworn in.
Ministry of Education presents computers to basic schools in the Greater Accra region.
ICC refers Kenya to its governing body for non-compliance of maritime dispute with Somalia. Clement Sam is our signer for tonight.
And other stories. A new board of directors for the Bank of Ghana has been sworn in at the Flagstaff House. Vice President Kwesi Arthur told members to help reduce interest rates and make credit accessible to SMEs in the country.
Per the new act enacted by Ghana's parliament, the new board members of the Central Bank of Ghana has more autonomy, but with much responsibility. It also makes the governor of the Bank of Ghana the board chair. Vice President Kwesi Arthur, who swore in the new board, said the Mahama-led administration is focused on creating more jobs. He tasked the board to channel their efforts at reducing interest rates on loans and make credit accessible to especially small-scale businesses.
Talking to people in the economy in the country, there are two significant problems that they face. Interest rates are too high and they must come down. And access to credit, especially for small and medium enterprises, it's something that you should work on. We hope that the new board will take as a major responsibility the interest rates, the role the bank plays in bringing down interest rates, reduce the cost of doing business especially for small and medium enterprises.
Members of the new board pledged to live up to expectation in delivering on their mandate.
With macroeconomic stability, which I think is our core mandate, the core mandate of the bank, we have to work together as a team to ensure that not only do we deliver on relative price stability, but also we work with the exchange rate in such a way that it gives the competitive edge to our private sector in the whole process. Again, it's mentioned the marginalization of people, of some of us in the financial development process. I think we as a board would have to look at this critically for financial inclusion policies that will deepen financial savings mobilization, will deepen the credit management process so that the marginalized, the poor, the microfinance institutions would have access to credit on affordable terms, not the exorbitant, certain times outrageous types of interest rates that we find especially in the microfinance sector.
With a new act in place to regulate the Bank of Ghana, its board has the luxury to meet once every 2 months instead of once a month, as was the case per the former act. But the substance is to stabilize the macroeconomy and help create a conducive environment for business growth. Ntobi Binimto, GBC24, Flagstaff.
Now, the Asokori Mampong municipality of the Ashanti region has topped the 2015 results of the annual performance evaluation of metropolitan, municipal and district assemblies. The evaluation was done by the Local Government Service. The Local Government Service Performance Management System is a process for improving the performance of individuals and institutions and is meant to enhance productivity in line with Section 6E of the Local Government Act. The Asokori Mampong Municipal Assembly, which was established 4 years ago, topped the 2015 annual performance review of MMDAs with 99.7%, followed by Busumtri District in the Ashanti region with 98.8%. Setra Central District, also in the Ashanti region, placed third with 96.9%. The Asokori Mampong Municipal Assembly organized a deba to show appreciation to all who have contributed to its success story.
Now, the Ministry of Education has presented over 4,000 computers to be distributed to primary school teachers in the Greater Accra region. The computers are expected to enhance teaching and learning in the beneficiary schools.
Trained 31,000 teachers in ICT across the country. The training project was to equip them with ICT skills to enable them use the computer efficiently. The ministry presented 4,109 computers to the Greater Accra Regional Directorate on Thursday. The laptops are loaded or pre-installed with content covering all subjects to enhance teaching and learning.
Teachers will have to use the computers and use what is on the computers to teach. That is what we loaded the computers.
370 computers have also been distributed to the mathematics and science teachers. The Greater Accra Regional Director of Education, Dr. Peter Atefa, was grateful for the gesture and promised that the computers will be distributed and put to good use. Other regions across the country will also receive their share.
Now, the Speaker of Parliament, Mr. Edward Doe Ajaho, says government will not take the people of the Volta region for granted and that the region will get its fair share of the national cake. The Speaker was speaking at the 2016 Yam Festival of the Chiefs and People of the Asogli State in Ho.
This year's Asogli Yam Festival was significant because it was happening in an election year with emphasis on peaceful coexistence. All the political party representatives who attended the event appended their signatures to a symbolic calabash. The Asogli State, like most Ewe-speaking people, trace their origin to Abyssinia, which is now called Ethiopia. The Asogli people migrated alongside other groups of Ewes to Oyo in the Yoruba land in western Nigeria and later to Ketu in Dahomey, now Benin, before settling at Noche in present-day Republic of Togo. Those who attended this year's celebration included King Agokoli from the Republic of Togo. The celebration seeks to foster unity and forgiveness and also for the chiefs to reaffirm their allegiance to their Asogli stool. The Volta Regional Minister, Ms. Ellen Adjuan-Toso, reassured the people of government's commitment to developing the region.
Construction works on two major works in the municipality have commenced, and this will lead to their upgrading into dual carriageways and add up to the beautification of Ho as the regional capital.
The Speaker of Parliament, Mr. Edward Doe Ajaho, said government would keep faith with the Volta region.
The unity which we are attempting to forge in the country is neither the unity of one tribe or the ethnic group, nor is it the unity of one region against the other. It is the unity which embraces the whole country, involving every traditional area, every tribal group, religion, and indeed the entire people.
The Agbogbo Mafia of the Asogli State, Togbe Apede, appealed to politicians to promote peace.
Adeo kwa jijiofia mama ichofi amekama chofi mi mano yape kada dameo miapo mi awade dodono na mesambe abano via vunya meje vunya legana
Hello again, it's still News Hour on GBC24. On the political front, the flag bearer of the Progressive People's Party is asking Ghanaians to vote for the PPP for dynamic leadership. On his tour campaign of the Central Region, Dr. Papakwesi Indum said Ghana needs a new leader who can handle the affairs of the country effectively, and that is what the PPP stands for.
The PPP flag bearer, Dr. Papakwesi Indum, started his tour in the Efutu constituency with a visit to the chiefs and elders of the Efutu traditional area. He was at the palaces of both Nenyugati and Anayiribi Akwa to seek their consent to campaign on their land. He later interacted with members of the community. At the Jazzy DA Primary School Park, Dr. Indum introduced Nana Owusu Ofori as a parliamentary candidate for the Efutu constituency.
Ghana ha and coffee one and I was there. A Chinama where I shall go one you may want to do. That's where I can't. I'm a wadadao, not to Abama one. That's to Abama New Year, while concurrent, then we feel. Number 2012, and I feel so. What better way?
Dr. Indum also campaigned in the Infantimine constituency. At Abiazi Chiako, the BPP flag bearer introduced the parliamentary candidate Kobna Ochre, popularly called Igwe, to the people. Mr. Clement Abeidu is the PPP's parliamentary candidate at Abra Asei Bukamankasi constituency. As an orange-growing community, a factory is what is needed to add value to the produce, and Dr. Indum promised that a PPP government will do that. In the Cape Coast South constituency, Mr. Bright Edem was introduced at Aidan Market as the PPP parliamentary candidate. Dr. Indum said a PPP government will ensure that Ghanaian businesses are not overtaken by foreigners.
Sagana for what to about the mum? What to about the mum? A whole now, what in the Mechirwano? Oboko ho chrome. Waboko wonu chrome. Na enyankasa yakọ ne akachi enam ne mpanyinfo ne aba ne abotan ne yanyisika edegunye kotokum mahia abrabo wakoye no da mahen na obi obotwen ne yakoto aba osimamo ahead yimpa hino wotuma mo na ahead yimpa oha eduanum na semfo yenhwede so mo ahead na odi hiama ka ho na odi ebu ka ho enkoba ka ho na mo premix na omo bibiara ediban na edekopuru na se ekoho na se enam no enya bia waboa mo ohianye de aban obobo epono ho ban na waranka se na waadi usika atiboko osende nyime de enam no owo ho.
Meanwhile, while at Dodowa, the flag bearer of the Progressive People's Party, Dr. Papakwesi Indum, urged the electorate to vote for people who would deliver on their promises. Dr. Indum said job creation is one of the challenges that the nation currently faces and entreated Ghanaians to give him the mandate to change the country's fortune. He was addressing a rally at Shai Osudoku constituency in the Greater Accra region.
The Progressive People's Party, PPP, in the last few weeks has intensified its election campaign to woo voters, promising improvement of the economic situation of the people. The party now campaigns with the slogan, "Don't waste your vote on those who have disappointed you." Dr. Papakwesi Indum and his team were given a rousing welcome by party faithfuls at the Presbyterian Basic 2 School compound at Dodowa. Speakers, including both the national and regional executives, asked voters to cast their votes based on issues and not on familiarities. The National Secretary of the PPP, Murtala Mohammed, said previous and current governments have failed in their bid to improve the lives of Ghanaians because they lack ideas and must therefore not be allowed to continue.
Kaje 1992 ninya for shikia.
From 1992 ayatu abeyi.
Ya for shikia NDC ke MPP.
Yatuama NDC ani MPP.
Nino kono ko bako here wo.
Asasa adipapa bi ambentenu.
Ya fit your vote.
Na say abalo.
Because wasted vote, the vote nike or for no ba life.
Dr. Papa Kwesi Indum said the manifestos of both the NPP and NDC had failed to deliver on their campaign promises, saying Ghanaians should strive not to repeat mistakes of the past.
Chiefs don't do politics, or they are not supposed to do politics. But I also know that when the people suffer, it affects the chiefs. When the children are hungry, it affects the chiefs. When the children don't have jobs, it affects the chiefs. So I want to beg all of the chiefs who are here, the queen mothers who are here, to advise the people to make sure that they understand that their vote is important. We want the chiefs to also tell the people that when they see somebody deceiving them, they should advise them not to follow the people who are deceiving them. It is the vote that will bring them something good or something bad.
Dr. Indum asked the people of Shai Osudoku to vote massively for the aspiring MP for the area, Emmanuel Mate Tete. Mr. Mate Tete told the people he will transform the area for the better when given the opportunity to represent them in Parliament.
Again, it's Monday. My name is Morris Obete. Let's get latest from the world of business. Now, the Bank of Ghana has left the policy rate unchanged at 26%. It marks the 7th time the central bank has maintained the rate at 26%. And the governor of the bank, Dr. Abdul Nashiri Shaku, revealed the risk of inflation is still high, hence the need to further tighten monetary stance.
Policy rate aims at ensuring price stability, lower inflation, support economic objectives, and promote economic growth. In the past year, the bank has pegged the policy rate at 26%, citing high inflationary risk in the country. Inflation in the month of August stood at 16.9%, up from the July figure of 16.7%. The governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Abdul Nashiru Isahaku, explained the need for the continued tightening of the monetary and fiscal policy.
In assessing the current economic conditions, the committee noted the moderation in headline inflation since the July meeting on the back of continuous city stability, easing inflation pressures, and tight credit conditions, which implicitly reflect continued monetary policy tightening. Despite these positive developments, the committee observed that the current level of inflation is still high compared to the medium-term target of 8 plus or minus 2 percentage points. In light of these assessments, the committee decided to maintain the policy rate at 26%. The committee would continue to monitor developments in the economy and take appropriate actions if necessary towards attaining the medium-term inflation target over the forecast horizon.
Shortfalls in revenue made it difficult for the government's budget deficit for the first half of 2016 to be achieved.
In the first half of 2016, the external trade deficit widened on account of lower export receipts, especially for crude oil. However, its overall effect on the current account balance was moderated by lower outflows from the services account. The provisional outturn of the current account balance, therefore, improved to a deficit of 2.6% of GDP compared with 2.8% in the same period of 2015.
Prior to the announcement, some analysts had predicted a downward review of the policy rate, but the governor cited major risks to the fiscal outlook, including uncertainties in the international oil market that could slow the pace of fiscal consolidation and hinder efforts to restore macroeconomic stability as some of the reasons to maintain the policy rate at 26%.
We remain at the central bank, where Governor Dr. Abdul Nashiru Isaku says he does not expect the Ghana cedi to fall again against its major trading currencies, especially the US dollar, before the close of the year. Dr. Isaku said the cedi has been relatively stable since the beginning of the year, depreciating by 4.1% compared to 16% depreciation in the same period last year.
The local currency has been relatively stable since the beginning of the year. In the year to September 15, 2016, the Ghana cedi cumulatively depreciated by 4.1% compared with 16%, 4.1% compared with 16% depreciation in the same period of 2015. Is it one of the best performing currencies this year? This was achieved on the back of tight policy stance and improved foreign exchange flows. The stability of the currency is expected to be sustained. It is expected to be sustained, supported by the continued policy tightness, proceeds from the recently issued Eurobond, inflows from donors, and the pre-export finance facility for cocoa.
From the monetary side of things, Finance Minister Seth Terkper is optimistic the IMF who approved the third tranche of the three-year credit facility by close of September. He told GBC24 in an exclusive interview that his outfit has presented the necessary documents for the release.
We are likely to draw down the third tranche by close of September.
The third tranches always depend in most cases, unless you have a waiver. There's an emergency on when the board, meets. Okay. So the critical thing is about the board meeting. And once the fund, the board of the IMF approves, we believe that the tranche will be released, as has been released from the negotiation, meeting the prior actions for negotiations, meeting the performance criteria, not prior actions for the first and second review. The first and second review was not based on major, the negotiations and the effectiveness of the program had prior actions.
Okay.
First and second did not have many prior actions. So it's the third that has brought back, prior actions.
You're also expected to present, policies on how you are going to restructure the debts of the energy sector SOEs. We are on track as well.
We are on track. You know it already.
Right.
In that we have had this energy sector SOE debt for a very long time.
Right.
And this is the first time, maybe in a decade or two, that 11 banks have come together, 12 actually, to sit down with the Ministry of Finance on account of the restructuring we are doing in the energy sector and the energy sector levy, to do a major restructuring. And as I said, this was part of our program, a while ago, which the fund wanted clarification on what we are doing.
Bank market, where the US dollar is trading at 3 cedis 95 pesos, the pound at 5 cedis 22 pesos, and the euro at 4 cedis 45 pesos. On the international commodities market, a barrel of oil is selling at $43.73, a ton of cocoa at $2,828, and an ounce of gold at $1,312. Insurance News is brought to you by SIC Live. The National Pensioners Association has appealed to government to critically look at the policy for the aged and review it to improve their living conditions. The review, the association says, should go a long way in restructuring the pension scheme to meet international standards.
The fourth quadrennial delegates conference of the National Pensioners Association was an opportunity for members to discuss issues affecting their welfare and to take stock of their past activities. The conference also focused on the pensioners' medical scheme, which was launched in Kumasi to take care of emergency health needs of the members as a top-up to the National Health Insurance Scheme, NHIS. The founder and president of the Shama Business Forum, Mr. Isaac Kwamina Afo, who is also the chief executive of the Lower PRA Rural Bank Limited, said there is a need for government to develop and implement policies that will ensure distribution of food to the pensioners and the aged at least once in every month. The Western Regional Action PRO of PSWU of the Trades Union Congress, Mr. Charles Thompson Jr., spelled out some of the guidelines set by the union to support the association.
Can we have a mechanism in place where on the very first day the person is receiving the retirement letter, there is a card, there is a document that will guarantee that this person that is going has really served this nation and that all courtesies that they deserve will be given to them appropriately?
Insurance News brought to you by SIC Live. My name is Morris Ogbete. News hour continues. Hello, good evening, and most grateful to have you join us for the health segment of the news brought to you by FPAC. My name is Evans Echampon. Now, what are you supposed to do with leftover medicines? Do you keep them or continue taking them anytime you are ill? Clinical psychologist Notedua gives you some answers.
Patients find their way out of the pharmacy when they are prescribed for patients, but when there are leftovers of these medications, disposing them of become a problem. Also, in other instances, when they are disposed of, it is not done correctly. Leftover medications like painkillers, antibiotics, and half-filled bottle of potent medicine are left in the cabinet over a period of time once patients feel better. A clinical psychologist, Mr. Notedua, says it is important to dispose of leftover medicines because when people begin to experience similar symptoms of the previous ailment, there is the likelihood that they might go back to them without consulting a doctor.
Using leftover medications, you quickly assume that, well, Iramansa has the same symptoms I had 2 months ago, therefore I go into the drawer and then I use that. That is wrong. We have a program called the Disused Medicines Program, DUMP, which encourages you to take your leftover medications back to the hospital for them to dispose of. Okay, so that's a pattern. Not buying the full prescription is a problematic pattern. Not finishing the course is a problematic pattern.
In another vein, Mr. Notedua urged patients to establish good relationship with healthcare providers in order to share with them any adverse reactions after taking prescribed
Most
medications.
prescribers, will know and will have a basis for what they are prescribing. But where it's repetitive, ask, inquire, especially if the condition persists. We're interested in the behavior of the end user, the patient.
Unused prescription and over-the-counter medication can be dangerous, especially to children when they are either not disposed of or disposed of wrongly. Therefore, it is important to get rid of all medications safely.
Now, a 3-year-old Rebecca Ajiagbo has been diagnosed with spastic cerebral palsy with spastic quadriplegia, a defect of the spinal cord. She is unable to talk, sit, walk, and move her hands. Doctors say she needs to undergo 5 different tests in order to correct the defect of the spinal cord. She needs an amount of 5,000 Ghana cedis for the correction. Her father is appealing to the general public to assist him raise this amount to save Rebecca.
Spastic cerebral palsy is a developmental disorder caused by damage to the brain before or during birth or within the first few years of life. It is the most common type of cerebral palsy. The disease is characterized by jerky movements and muscle and joint stiffness. This condition prevents the normal development of motor function. It often makes simple tasks difficult, such as walking and picking up small objects. Some children with spastic cerebral palsy also develop co-occurring conditions as a result of their brain injury. Rebecca's condition started when she was 6 months old. Rebecca needs 5,000 Ghana cedis to correct her condition.
Obi batina baby abisa ne hu se adentina obi baba yare a baba gina TV so se onyi ni sika fa bonu nti wonu de woni adwuma bia odi ni sika ba ya na ewo mu se obatimi akasa de na nso akola we mobo abia wo sika wo de ba ya adwuma de bi na nso se nyame amamu a wo so wontimi nye na so hu akola we mobo na so hu akola wontimi nkasa mobo a abia problem bi obabi ma onyame nso batimi asobu sa problem no ma enti hu akola we mobo na nyame nso hu mobo kakra wo bia wodi ba support akola we abrabo bia wodi wasan bo kwa nyame nim ama wo so wanya abrabo mu apunto timidam nyina ase.
According to her father, Rebecca's mother ran away when she realized the plight of her child. The child now lives with the father, who cannot work because of her condition. All donations can be sent to mobile money account number 0248 017 818. Again, 0248 017 818. And the account name is Julius Atiagbo. Any amount will be highly appreciated.
And that does it for the segment brought to you by FPAC. News Hour continues.
In a related development, President John Mahama has arrived in New York for the 71st United Nations General Assembly. He is accompanied by the First Lady, Mrs. Lordina Mahama. President Mahama is scheduled to address the UN General Assembly on Wednesday, aside attending meetings of the UN Advocacy Group on Sustainable Development Goals, of which he is co-chairman. President Mahama will also attend the U.S. Africa Business Forum under the auspices of the U.S. Department of Commerce and Bloomberg Philanthropist. The First Lady will chair meetings of the Organization of African First Ladies Against HIV and AIDS and other events for First Ladies. At this point, we'll take a break, and then when we come back, sports will be next. Please stay.
Bring you some updates from happenings in the world of sports. I'm Theophilus Sampa. We do cycling first, where Tsunami-based cyclist Anthony Boache is the overall winner of this year's Cowbell Cycling Challenge held in the Ashanti region. Boache clocked an overall best time of 5 hours 22 minutes and 18 seconds ahead of compatriots Nurupadi Hassan from the Velo Star Club and Kofi Newton of Quickstep Cycling Club. For 5 years now, Cowbell has been the sole sponsor of the annual national cycling competition. The participating cyclists in this year's event covered a total of 240 kilometers in 3 days. 72 cyclists from 13 cycling clubs from the various parts of the country took part. The first stage of the race began with 70 cyclists who cleared a distance of 100 kilometers from Nkoko to Kumasi. Nurupadi was the stage winner on the day and made a time of 1 hour, 23 minutes and 53 seconds. The second stage rolled off from Kumasi to Edujaman and back to the Garden City. River Park's ruler Anthony Boache won the stage in style, edging out on the time made by Nurupadi. Before the start of the final stage of the competition, more than 2,000 amateur cyclists from various parts of Kumasi metropolis, including a 3-year-old boy, enthusiastically defied the morning downpour to take part in the Cowbell cycling caravan. From the Jubilee Park, they went through almost all the major streets of the Garden City before ending at the Babara Sports Stadium. Then came the time for the professional cyclist numbering 72 to embark on the last stage of the competition. Under the eagle eyes of the national executives of the Ghana Cycling Federation, the cyclist started off at exactly 5 minutes after 2 p.m. at Bremen. The Bona Hafo rider maintained the calmness of his 9 seconds lead in the bunch and never hesitated any attacks as he protected his time to finish in the third stage from Kumasi to Kofodia and back to Kumasi in a heated distance of 82 kilometers. The Sunyani-based cyclist clocked an overall best time of 5 hours, 22 minutes and 18 seconds ahead of compatriots Nurupadi Al-Hassan from the Velo Star Cycling Club and Kofi Newton from the Quickstep Cycling Club. Brands manager of Promasidor Ghana, producers of Cowbell products, Mr. Joseph Ashon, was happy at the turn of events.
Basically, it's just the brand's wish or the brand's aim to project cycling in the country, develop it to the level where probably at the international level, when we're talking about cycling, Ghana's name will also be mentioned as a hub for cycling.
Winners of the various categories were given cash prizes and products worth 20,000 Ghana cedis. Solomon Tego from the Gatton Cycling Club in Accra won the overall youngest best by time. The overall best fighter went to Anthony Boache, who again won the overall best cyclist by point, representing the green jersey. Ghana's beach soccer team, the Black Sharks, have picked the ticket for this year's CAF Beach Soccer Nations Cup to be staged in Nigeria. They beat Kenya by 7-1. The senior national beach soccer team, the Black Sharks, put up a show in the return leg of the CAF Beach Soccer final qualifier. Ghana had recorded a 10-3 away win in faraway Mombasa a fortnight ago. Watched by a crowd including the former Minister of Transport, Jifa Tivo, the Public Relations Officer of the Ministry of Youth and Sports, Otto Plaha, the Secretary General of the PFAG, Anthony Baffa, and dancehall artist Stone Ball. The Kenyans were the first to score through Mohamed Said. Aziz Kofi leveled to end the first quarter 1-1. In the second quarter, Richard Osa scored a hat-trick, whilst Captain Michael Sema scored twice and Alexander Ajayi also banged in 2 goals to end the second and third quarter by 7-1. The result means Ghana has qualified to the second edition of the AFCON to be staged in Lagos, Nigeria, winning by 17-4 on aggregate. The Beach Soccer AFCON has been set for the 13th to the 18th of December this year. While Stars have been crowned Ghana Premier League champions for the first time in their history, they took away $30,000 and the new glittering trophy at stake.
All Stars played Sekendi Hazakas in one of the final matches in the Ghana Premier League. All Stars lost the encounter by 3-0, but the defeat did not mar All Stars' historic day as they lifted the trophy to wild cheers from their traveling fans from Wa. While All Stars became the first club from the northern part of Ghana to be crowned champions of Ghana's top football league. They will represent Ghana in the next year's CAF Champions League.
This is why All Stars, they are
The senior national women's football team, the Black Queens, will open their Africa Cup of Nations campaign against Nigeria. This was revealed after CAF held a draw on Sunday.
Kenya and Mali in Group B for the 2016 Africa Women Cup of Nations that will be held in Cameroon. The finals will kick-start on 19 November and will see defending champions Nigeria play their rivals, the Black Queens, in their group opener. Group A is made up of host Cameroon, Egypt, South Africa and Zimbabwe. Host Cameroon are in Group A and will face Egypt in the opening match of the finals in Yaoundé. The final is set for December 3 with Limbe as the other host city.
The national under-17 male football team, the Black Starlets, on Sunday beat their Ivorian counterparts by 3-1. The encounter was the first leg of the AFCON 2017 qualifiers.
The leg tie of the 2017 African Junior Championship final qualifiers took place at the Cape Coast Stadium. Captain Eric Yehia opened the scoring for Ghana. He also played a vital role for the second goal before the break. After the break, the Starlets went into cruise control after scoring the third, but they were stunned moments later when the Ivorians scored a vital away goal. The Ghanaian players could be seen dejected on the pitch after the final whistle went. The Starlets will travel to Cote d'Ivoire in a fortnight to play in the second leg. Ghana has missed out on the last 3 under-17 AFCON championships, but Coach Park Kwesi Fabian's side are bent on qualifying to the finals in Madagascar next year. Last year, Ghana was absent after being disqualified for fielding an overaged player against Cameroon in the qualifiers.
That's all for sports. Entertainment is next.
Now to some entertainment news. A constant in the world of show business is the use of makeup. It is used to perfect a character, enhance beauty or change a personality. The arts and entertainment segment takes a look at the use of makeup in the lives of everyday people and celebrities.
Cosmetics, also known as makeup, are substances or products used to enhance the appearance or fragrance of the body. Many cosmetics are designed for use on the face and hair. In the 21st century, women generally use more cosmetics than men. They are generally mixtures of chemical compounds. Makeup is applied to the human body for beautification, covering of blemish on the skin, and making the body attractive and appealing to the eye. But how can one achieve the perfect makeup? Jemima Quay, a makeup artist, takes us through how to achieve perfect makeup in few minutes.
The facial wipe, this is how it looks like. You wrap it around your hands like that, and then you put your hands here to support the person's head. You are going in an outward and upward mode. So you go in that direction. It should be soft actually. The skin around the face is very sensitive. So you go softly in an outward and then upward. Where I would emphasize and concentrate more would be on the eyebrow.
Historians say the use of cosmetics spans at least 6,000 years and is present in almost every society on earth. Some argue that cosmetic body art was the earliest form of ritual in human culture, dating over 100,000 years ago from the African Middle Stone Age. Cleopatra Kwache is also a makeup artist. She spoke about the differences between day and night makeup as well as the kind of makeup to use for certain occasions.
When you have the two-way powder, you can use it anytime, any day. Always need to apply your foundation first. Because after applying your foundation, you see the spots. The concealer conceals the spots. So for you to see the spots that well, you need to apply the foundation first. And then if you still see the spots on your face, then you apply the concealer to hide all the spots. I have 2 colors on. I have the pink and then the Bordeaux. That's the purple. We are exploring. we need to change inside, you know. Always one color, and we can even use 3 colors. Okay. Yes, it depends on the occasion.
So next time when applying makeup, you will know the kind of makeup to put on and when it is appropriate.
Well, this is how we wrap up on News Hour on GBC24. Join us at 10:30 for News Tonight.